Welcome back to episode 6 of the Double Feature podcast. I'm Elliot.
And I'm Charlie, and today's episode is Spiderman.
Woo!
Yeah, Spiderman episode. I don't know if we mentioned it last week.
Yeah, we did a couple of times actually.
Very nice. I'm not very well, so
No.
disclosure about
Yeah,
that.
so we'll see how this goes today.
Yeah. But we're going to go through what we've watched, any news from this week. We're going to go through each Spider-Man film, do a Spider-Man ranking, do a Spider-Man characters draft, and then a Spider-Man villain tier list.
Yeah.
Do you want to start with what you've watched?
Yeah, so I've had a good week for watching movies this week. Obviously we had to get through some Spider-Man movies.
Yes.
Spider-Man movies even.
Yeah.
So I won't talk about those, but I watched Spider-Man 3 at the start of the week. And then I went on to watch The Gorge, which is one of the new Apple TV movies. Not a good movie. Don't recommend wasting your time on that one. I then went on a Spider-Man run with Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, and No Way Home, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
We watched Spirited Away again.
Yeah.
I love The Boy and the Heron so much, so we wanted to watch some more Studio Ghibli stuff. I'm going to have to take a break from Studio Ghibli for a bit. I loved the movie, gave it another 4-star. Really freaked me out though.
Yeah, it's a bit disturbing.
Yeah, it's no more disturbing than The Boy and the Heron, but it doesn't have as many like redeeming upbeat factors to it, if you know what I mean. We then watched Anchorman last night, which is, I mean, I always thought it was funny. I forgot how funny it is. I mean, Brick is one of the funniest characters to be in a comedy movie.
Yeah.
And then last night we watched The Green Mile, which is one of my all-time favourites. It's just a brilliant movie. I'll let you talk about that one a bit more. Your first watch.
Well, I've watched all the films that you've watched this week.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3, Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, No Way Home, Spirited Away, and then Anchorman, and The Green Mile, which was good. I would have liked to be a bit more awake during the last half an hour.
Yeah, it was. You hadn't had much sleep, and it was a long movie, so.
Yes. But yeah, it's a good film.
Yeah.
I'm glad I've finally got around to watching it.
Yeah. It's one of those. It's a bit like The Godfather. If you say you love movies, you kind of have to watch it at some point.
Yeah, it's kind of the same with Lord of the Rings, but we'll move on to the news.
Not too sick for that,
News, we've had some new Odyssey pictures.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey.
They look very practical.
Very practical.
I said earlier, he's basically just doing The Odyssey.
Yeah, he's not filming The Odyssey, he's doing The Odyssey. Recreating boats. I did see something, I didn't jot it down or anything, but everyone's role in the film has kind of been given to them.
Yeah.
And like, we know it now.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of the names off by heart.
I mean, we pretty much know that Matt Damon is Odysseus.
Yes, he is.
Which I think I knew that anyway, just by the age of the character and the age of the rest of the actors and all of that. But it hadn't really been confirmed until like the photos and all of that. But it's all but confirmed now.
Yeah. We have also been informed that Sadie Sink will be in Spider-Man 4.
Yeah.
Releasing next July.
Yeah. Which I know that she is. I don't know. I think she's like 18, 19.
Yeah. Somewhere
around that age. So like she's the age that Spider-Man is. Tom Holland's like almost 30.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether it would be a bit too odd for her to be a love interest like MJ, obviously with the hair.
Yeah.
But there's literally nothing being confirmed other than that she's in the movie. We don't even know what it's about yet. So
no. We haven't even got a title for her at the minute.
There's not much
Spider-Man
point.
4.
Yeah, there's not much point speculating. We have no idea who she could be, let alone who she is. That doesn't mean a heap of news this
I've got
week.
something that isn't movie related, but Playboy Carthy dropped yesterday for the first time in like 5 years.
Yeah. It was terrible.
It was okay.
I don't know. I've never listened to a Playboy Carthy song, I don't think. But Should we just get on with
we'll
the
get
Spider-Man
on
part
with
of this?
The Spider-Man part of this.
It's gonna be, as the episode is laid out, it's gonna be the main part of this episode.
Yeah, I think it's the rest of the episode.
We've got 10 movies to talk about. We've got some notes on each of them. So, synopsis of Spider-Man 1.
Spider-Man 1, directed by Sam Raimi, 2002. The synopsis: after being bitten by a genetically altered spider at Oscorp, nerdy but endearing high school student Peter Parker is endowed with the amazing powers to become the superhero known as Spider-Man. The villain of this film, Green Goblin.
Yeah, Green. I mean, my first note is it's the best live-action Spider-Man villain we've had.
Nice, good take.
Yeah, I mean, he's not my favourite villain.
No.
Which we'll talk about in a minute, but he is, I would say, almost objectively the best.
Yeah.
I'd say the best actor we've had to play a Spider-Man villain.
Yes. Willem Dafoe did everything.
Yeah,
well.
he put all of it into it.
You know how much I've sacrificed.
But yeah, obviously, especially with superhero movies, the villains are like half the movie. So if you've got a good villain, you're on your way to having a good movie. And yeah, they smashed this one. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. Spider-Man 1.
I gave it 4.5.
4.5. Yeah.
We won't get too much into ratings.
No. We'll talk about that in the ranking.
Yeah.
The other thing I said, which I know you agree with, it's the best version of the Uncle Ben story we've had.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's not even hard really, because we haven't
so
had a good one other
accurate.
than that.
It's fantastic. I've got down that it's almost the perfect like comic book origin story.
Yeah,
I'm
with you on that.
It's got fantastic transitions.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi did a brilliant job. With all of those.
Yeah, well, I think I'm going to talk more about that in Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2.
But there is one in Spider-Man 1 that we both kind of went
it's
a
when
bit
we
crazy
first seen Green Goblin.
Yeah, and he throws it into the bunker, doesn't he?
Yeah, and all the paper goes everywhere and it turns into the graduation hats.
Yeah, and he put his whole ass into that transition.
I've also got down, there's so many good quotes, especially from Green Goblin. Do you know how much I sacrificed?
Yeah, I mean, how many different quotes from him have? I mean, I can think of 2 off the top of my head that have turned into like viral memes.
Yeah. And then there's the one at the end where it's what do people like to see more than a hero succeeding? To see one die, fail, triumph, or something along those lines.
I've got 2 cons.
Yeah.
And they're not. I mean, the first con isn't really a con. I just put it's older. It's like the oldest Spider-Man movie we have. It's like some movies that's not a negative. I do think this one suffers is the wrong word, but like you can tell it's the oldest one. Yeah, it doesn't make too much of a difference. But
correct me if I'm wrong, but this came out. Not only was it the first Spider-Man film, this came out before the MCU. Yeah. Before Iron Man 1. So that just goes to show that.
Yeah, exactly.
It was early superhero films, wasn't it?
I mean, like, as I say, it's a brilliant movie, I think. Honestly, 3.5 might be a bit harsh from me. It didn't reach a 4, personally. The only other, and I'll go more into this when we talk about the rest of them, I'll just put it wasn't as fun as some of the other Spider-Man movies we've had.
I do get that.
I don't think it has to be fun. No. It's like, I think if this movie was too fun, it would have been weird. Yeah, I mean, because it's a bit more grounded.
It's the most grounded Spider-Man we've had, especially this film.
But it did have a lack of like the fun side of Spider-Man in there, which I did notice as I was watching it. Yeah,
I've got there was probably a little bit of forced acting. Christian Dunst.
Kirsten.
Is it? I don't even know.
I've got down here. I just wrote I don't like Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah, they haven't really done a good live action MJ.
No,
which is really sad.
Yeah, it is a shame.
It's probably the biggest
Peter and MJ, isn't it?
We're going back to the highs. I've got the Upside Down Kiss. That's very iconic. I would like to try it. I think I would get head rush a little bit and pass out.
Yeah.
It's
I'd like to try it if it was Spider Gwen
mm,
and I was just the one standing still.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot easier, I think.
yeah,
I think I mentioned it whilst we were watching Across.
yeah,
Like one of their superpowers must be not having blood rush to their brain
yeah,
because they're upside down so much.
yeah. Especially in that film.
Yeah.
I've also got J.K. Simmons.
Oh yeah. How
Yeah.
did I not mention that?
Bring me Spider-Man. Yeah, he's so good in that.
He is
in
J.
all
Jonah
three
Jameson,
of those
isn't it?
movies.
Like
yeah,
you think of J. Jonah Jameson and it's like J.K. Simmons.
yeah. I mean, they didn't recast him. in
No,
the
no,
Spider-Man
no,
films.
exactly.
And one of my personal favourite scenes from the first Spider-Man film is when they're at the dinner table and Norman finds out that Peter is Spider-Man because they have the battle and he's got the cut on his arm, which is brilliant.
The shot of the drop of blood falling while Peter's on the ceiling,
Yeah,
I think is a really good shot, especially like because obviously it wasn't a real drop of blood. The effect on it, you couldn't tell. Like,
no.
especially for did you say 2003?
Two.
Yeah, especially for them, it just another thing I put in here. I wasn't expecting the swinging to be as good as it is.
It was really good.
I think it was just because it's not what I remember from that movie. I remember when I watched it. I remember Green Goblin.
Yeah, unlike other Spider-Man films, the swinging, it looks good, but it doesn't stand out. If that kind of makes sense, it just seems natural.
Yeah.
Which is good for a 2002 film. But,
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2, also by Sam Raimi, 2004.
Yeah.
Synopsis, a bit of a longer one. Peter Parker is going through a major identity crisis, burnt out from being Spider-Man. He decides to shelve his superhero alter ego, which leaves the city suffering in the wake of carnage left by the evil Doc Ock. In the meantime, Peter still can't act on his feelings for Mary Jane Watson, a girl he's loved since childhood. A certain anger begins to brew in his best friend Harry Osborn as well.
Yeah. I mean, the first one I've got here, it's what I was talking about earlier. Doc Ock is my favourite Spider-Man villain, especially that has been in a live-action movie. As I say, I think how they did Green Goblin was better.
Yeah.
But Doc Ock was enough for him to still be my favourite, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think the story of, like, obviously it's how it goes in the comics, like it's not like they made it up, but him going to Octavius because he was like so in awe of him, and then it sort of turning into this apprentice situation, and then for it to all crumble, and then obviously at the end comes back together a bit more.
We haven't given it yet, but spoiler warning.
It's from 2004.
Yeah, well, all of these are years old now.
Yeah.
But even so, my highs. I thought Aunt May was especially good in this film.
Yeah.
Especially the talk when. No, that's 3. Ignore me. The train scene.
Yes.
Really good.
Yeah.
One of maybe the best superhero scenes.
Yeah.
Especially
I would say it's definitely one of the best moments of a superhero.
Yeah.
Like having a moment of I need to do this sort of thing.
Yeah, especially when he's hung up for being Spider-Man at this point, really.
Yeah. And obviously he didn't have Robert Downey Jr. coming to save the day.
Yeah.
So
not giving him a really powerful suit or whatnot. But and then when they catch him as he's falling and put the mask back on him, it just shows that he is that symbol of hope.
Yeah.
And it's really good. Another scene like that is when he runs into the burning building on fire.
Yeah. But you'd hope that the burning building was on fire.
Yeah, well, double the fire, I guess. And, well, he runs in, he doesn't use any of his powers or anything. No suit, just Peter Parker, runs in, saves almost everyone. But still disappointed that he couldn't save that one or two people that did die. But that just shows that literally anyone can be Peter Parker. Because it's that heroism.
Yeah, it's not the powers that did it. It's the person. Another one of the things I've said, which we've talked about a couple of them, is the emotional beats in this movie just hit better than the first one, I think. Like you feel the weight of what's going on, like with Doc Ock falling into the river at the end, and with the train scene, the fire scene, all of that. You feel it. And I don't know. Like I mean, I preferred. I know this isn't a hot take, like massively, but I preferred Spider-Man 2 to Spider-Man 1. That was carried partly from Doc Ock. And another one that I did put in here, the transitions in this movie also. The glasses one.
The glasses one is so good.
Insane. You almost takes you a second to go, did that just happen?
Yeah.
Like,
to me, it was like, was that actually like, is this done in a live action film? Because that's the kind of transition you were doing, like into or across.
Yeah, it was just. I mean, I've said it before. Sam Raimi puts his whole ass into the transitions in this movie, and you can really you can really tell.
Am I right in thinking that this is the one where Harry Osborn finds out that obviously he found out at the end of 1 that Spider-Man killed his dad?
He finds out
that's Peter.
Yeah, how does he find out?
I don't remember because it ends with Mary Jane and him on the bridge, and Mary Jane says, "We can't do this anymore," because Harry put him up to it. That like kind of makes sense.
Was that this one or 3? No, it's 3 because that's
one's 3. That's
when
the start of 3.
Yeah,
but he does find out that it's Peter in this one.
It's after Harry loses his memory that happens, and he gets his. Like,
he gets it back. And like, yes, of course.
Like 2 other things I put in here. I preferred Kirsten Dunst in this movie to the last one.
Yes.
Still don't like her massively. And again, the swinging. This one more than the last, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This is the one that made me go, shit. That's actually quite good, sort of thing.
I should have jotted down the budgets for these films, but that would have been interesting. I haven't got many lows, if any, at all. Obviously, still MJ.
Well, one that's for the whole franchise. Spider-Man's theme in these movies.
So good.
Yeah. Is it the da-da-da-da-da? That's the.
Yeah. And
that's his theme in these.
Yeah. And the intros as well, where it's going through all the webs, and at the start of 2 and 3, it shows like almost a recap of the last film, which is quite nice.
Yeah. Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Cap off the trilogy.
Yeah. The seemingly invincible Spider-Man goes up against an all-new crop of villains, including the shape-shifting Sandman. While Spider-Man's superpowers are altered by an alien organism, his alter ego, Peter Parker, deals with the nemesis, Eddie Brock, and also gets caught up in a love triangle.
I put in here, as a kid, I think I mentioned it when we were watching it, as a kid, I always loved Sandman for some reason.
Yeah.
Didn't really change, I still quite like him. I also put the Harry versus Peter beef in this movie.
Yeah.
Obviously you get the halfway through, loses his memories, and then it restarts again.
Yeah. Well,
but I think you said it as well actually, this is the best Harry we've had so far.
Definitely. Definitely. And the parallel in the scene where they visit him in the hospital after he's lost his memory, and he says, I would die for you guys, and then he sacrifices himself to save them at the end, which is very nice.
Yeah, it's very. I think this movie is definitely overhated.
Yeah,
I think it's probably for me only just lower than the first one.
Yeah.
Like it is still my lowest, but it's definitely overhated.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, they did Venom dirty in this movie.
Yeah, Eddie Brock wasn't great either.
They're
my 2 lows. But.
I think I mentioned whilst we were watching it, like I checked the time, because we were an hour in, and one of the villains we'd only just met, and the other 2 we hadn't really met yet. And it was like, how are they going to wrap up? They've got 20 minutes on each villain, and the rest of the story to sort out. And that is one of my cons. We don't get enough depth on any of them.
No, definitely.
Mostly Harry. Like we get a lot of depth on Harry, but like I kind of feel like he didn't need that much depth. This was his 3rd movie. Like if they just didn't reset his memory, they could have sorted all of that out in the first half and had a whole half of a movie on two villains. Obviously, I'm changing the whole movie now, so like, it's a bit different, but yeah, we didn't get enough depth, especially on Venom, who ends up being the big bad of the movie, and you're like, I don't know this.
Yeah, it wasn't really explained well enough.
Yeah,
like why did it just fall from the sky?
Yeah.
There was none of that, but I think the symbiote suit was absolutely fantastic in this film.
Yeah. I liked the moments when Peter would take off the suit and sort of have like a post-suit clarity. Where he like went, the fuck have I been doing? Like, and it was like you kind of get a shot of the suit and then a shot of his face, and I don't think that's been. I mean, we haven't had another black suit, but I wasn't expecting those sort of moments. Like the switches were quite good.
One other thing I would like to point out, the fact that Bryce Dallas Howard, is that the right name? She was in it, so was Christian Dunst, and they both had on wigs of pretty much each other's.
Well, Kirsten Dunst didn't have a wig on, but she is naturally blonde, I think. Which just doesn't make much sense, does it?
No, not at all.
I mean, Bryce Dallas Howard in a blonde wig, I'm not going to complain, but it doesn't make much sense.
No, definitely not.
But
onto your forte.
Yeah.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think this is the one where we're the most differed on.
Yeah. Let me just find out. Jesus Christ. Quite a long synopsis. Directed by Mark Webb, 2012. The villain was Lizard. Peter Parker is an outcast high schooler abandoned by his parents as a boy, leaving him to be raised by his Uncle Ben and Aunt May. Like most teenagers, Peter is trying to figure out who he is and how he got to be the person that he is today. As Peter discovers a mysterious briefcase that belonged to his father, he begins a quest to understand his parents' disappearance, leading him directly to Oscorp, the lab of Dr. Kurt Connors, his father's former partner. As Spider-Man is set on a collision course with Connors' alter ego, the Lizard, Peter will make life-altering choices to use his powers and shape his destiny to become a hero.
That is quite a mouthful. You smashed that though, to be fair.
Thank you, mate. Mid.
I'll start this one off, and we'll forget you said anything. This movie, and I don't. If you disagree with this, you are just like. I mean, I already know that you've been dropped on the head, but yeah, you will just be a hater. This movie is so fun. I'm waiting.
I was just bored.
How?
It just didn't interest me.
But like, what didn't interest you about the movie?
The difference between Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, which is probably the most perfect Spider-Man we've had, and his terrible Peter Parker writing, it just took me out. It wasn't the same character.
I do think there was too much Peter in there. One thing I said before we started this podcast, the reason why I know I'm wrong on my ranking of this movie is because I have quite a few cons written down. I just don't care about them. I do believe everyone has their Spider-Man. You don't make any sense in this theory.
My Spider-Man was before I was born.
And the first one you watched was Tasm. The first Spider-Man I watched was Tasm. And I don't like that's just been it now. From then I watched Tasm in the cinemas, and then that was about it. I think the swinging is the best we've had. It should be. It should be the best we've had.
Can I just say, I have no issue with Andrew Garfield. If they did Peter right, yes, he would be my favourite Spider-Man. And yes, I think these two films will be higher up. But it's the fact that the writers did him dirty, and I want him to get a third film.
Did you like it when you watched it the first time? Because you were like 6.
I didn't watch it when I was 6. I watched it when it came out on like DVD or something.
So 7.
I remember liking it because of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Not nothing else.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Also,
I also was like way too encouraged to like dinosaurs until I was
Yeah.
like 18.
yeah,
So
and that brings us back
the
to
lizard.
the lizard.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a great Spider-Man villain, especially for an origin story.
See, I quite like
Lizards.
I quite like the relationship in this movie if it was more in depth between Kurt and Peter. Like, we get sort of one meeting between them properly, and I liked it. I just wish we'd had more
Yeah.
because, like, it's trying to be far too emotional with too little context. And that is probably my biggest con, other than, and I've written down here, just say the line.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about it until we watched it back in January, I think.
Mhm.
Why doesn't Uncle Ben just say, like, it's one of the most famous superhero lines of all time.
Yeah.
I would say the most iconic, and he just doesn't just say it word for word. It's not like
It's like
a
those
bad,
allergic to following
yeah,
comics.
it's not like a bad line. You don't have to change it. It's a good line.
No, but they just wanted to be different.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I'll start with my lows.
course.
Only because I've got more. Like I said, Peter Parker,
Yeah.
the writing of him, he's meant to be a loser.
Yeah.
Why is he the coolest guy there?
Yeah.
And yeah, I was about to mention the age, but Tobey Maguire was older.
Yeah. No, he wasn't. He was
No.
younger, looked older.
Yeah, I think what they did well with Tobey Maguire is everyone, like, he looked too old to be in school.
Yeah.
But everyone in his school looked like kind of the same age as him.
Yeah.
Everyone just looked
Especially
younger than
Flash
every guy.
Thompson in that movie.
Yeah.
Flash Thompson is 40.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've got a bad script.
Yeah.
And probably my lowest of low, only because it's not Spider-Man, and it was, like we said, Tobey Maguire on the bridge, or was it? No, it was 2, when he went out for coffee with MJ and said, like, look, we can't do this, and she was like, why? And then they get a car for them, but and that's like Peter, he's got to like make that kind of sacrifice. Otherwise, it leads to bad things, like not catching someone. At the end of the film, when Gwen's dad dies, he makes the final wish to keep Gwen out of it.
Yeah.
Literally, within the week, Peter turns around to Gwen and says, rules are meant to be broken.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Your dad's just died.
I think the problem in that is the fact that they put the dad saying it in.
Yeah.
Because I'd like, the reason I'm happy Peter said that is because I think their relationship is the best one we've had.
Yes.
And so I was happy that that didn't end. However, it should have ended.
Yeah.
Like, going by the story,
Yeah,
it should have ended.
Or the film should have ended with it, like, ending, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not, like, within 5 minutes of the film being at the funeral to being pretty much back together.
Yeah. And, like, Peter didn't even go to the funeral.
No.
Like, Peter doesn't go to the funeral, and then he goes, fuck it.
Yeah.
It's Emma Stone.
Yeah, I mean...
I get it. It's Emma Stone.
I mean... For some reason, films and media have a weird way of doing funerals.
We'll talk about
that next week.
It probably should have been this week. We didn't plan it out very well.
But yeah, I'll
it's fine. We get 2 views.
Me and you.
They're not waiting.
But yeah, I'll go into my highs.
Yeah.
One of them's in the middle, I would say. So I'll start with that one.
You're so allergic to saying this movie's good.
No, the CGI was fantastic.
Yeah.
But it was the same CGI that was in TASM 2, which we'll get on into.
Yeah.
And especially in TASM 2, I know we're not on it, but it was very messy.
Yeah.
And too much CGI.
Yeah.
I liked the amount of CGI in TASM, which is why I've got it higher than TASM 2.
Yeah. You've missed a low, by the way.
Which one?
Which I didn't think you'd do of all people. The Rhino.
Oh, yeah.
Stupid.
That's TASM 2, mate.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
It
is.
starts with the Rhino, doesn't it? Does it
2002
start
ends
and
with-
end?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, that's it.
yeah,
Yep. We'll talk about that in a minute then.
yeah. A little bit of foreshadowing. My highs are, I think the scenes with Spider-Man in
Yeah.
are great.
Yeah. I'll know my weaknesses, small knives,
Yeah.
is perfect Spider-Man quip,
Yes.
but like just the Peter side of it is
Yeah.
just I
Yeah,
don't know. I can't disagree with you on everything when he's out of the suit.
Yeah.
Again, I don't care. I just can't disagree.
Yeah.
Do we want to go on to TASM 2?
Yeah, we
Because
can.
I'm not going to be defending this one as highly.
No.
I will put out there.
Synopsis.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I forget about those.
This one's also long. Well, it starts with no more secrets, so that's fun.
Why are the synopsis written better than the movie?
Yeah, why can't they just hire letterbox writers? For Peter Parker, life is busy. That's a great start to a synopsis, isn't it? Between taking out the bad guys as Spider-Man and spending time with the person he loves, Gwen Stacy, high school graduation cannot come quickly enough. Peter has forgotten about the promise he made to Gwen's father to protect her by staying away. But that is a promise he cannot keep. Things will change for Peter when a new villain, Electro, emerges and an old friend, Harry Osborn, returns, and Peter uncovers new clues about his past. I say we start with Harry Osborn, because we didn't mention him in Dazzle.
I'm just going to start on like my only new high.
Yeah.
It's the best live action suit.
Definitely.
Like,
Definitely.
it's not even close. It might be close for you, and I understand with the black suit and everything.
Yeah.
It's not close for me.
No.
Like, for me, it's the perfect live action suit. I'm not going to say the perfect suit because that's Spider-Man PlayStation 5.
There's only one issue I have with the PlayStation Spider-Man suit.
What?
In every comic, the spider on his front and back is black.
Yeah.
And they turned it to white, which
I think that was to go with Marvel's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll start with everything else about the movie.
Should we start with highs of this film, if there's any?
I just did.
I've got weird high. Gwen's death.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good
I
scene.
get what you mean.
The hand with the web.
Yeah.
Was great.
Yeah, and it hits really well.
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't have hit as hard if they hadn't done such a good job of setting up the relationship. Fucking up in the middle of it, but setting up the relationship. Because it is, I would say, the best live action relationship we've had, except for that middle bit.
Yeah.
And so it wouldn't have. If this had happened to Kirsten Dunst, I wouldn't have felt the same.
No. However, I think if there was a better MJ in that film, it would have hit more.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying like Kirsten Dunst in those movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've put again, like it's the same as last time. They smashed the swinging in both of these movies.
Yeah.
Another one of my highs. It's probably my only favourite scene from this movie is the Electro like power grid bit where he's bouncing between.
On that, another one of my highs, Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
The score of this film was very good.
Yeah.
I'm sad they didn't bring it back in No Way Home. Or that one.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been good, but yeah, I think that scene in the power grid is a good scene. Again, we'll talk about. Have you got any more highs?
No.
No.
Those.
The writing got worse.
Yeah. Don't know how.
No. It hit rock bottom and then just went, I'll find the elevator, I guess. But the main low I have of this movie is just leave the parents alone.
Yeah, it was like half an hour of talking about something that wasn't relevant.
I didn't dislike it in the first one when they found the briefcase and he was thinking about it because it led him to the villain in a natural way.
Yeah.
Leave it there.
Yeah.
Like, your parents are dead.
Yeah.
Just like, have it as that.
Have you seen the deleted scene where he goes to like his parents' gravestones at the end and his dad just walks up to him It's so stupid, and I'm so glad they didn't.
Yeah.
And he just like crashes out on his dad, like saying, "How could you do this?" And like that would have made it worse
Yeah.
somehow. My lowest of lows is the Sinister Six lead on. We haven't had a Sinister Six ever in films.
No.
No, and it led on.
We got really close, and they even had a sixth villain to put in.
They showed all the suits in the
I'm doing it in No Way Home. They had 5 villains and just missed out a sixth one.
Yeah, because I was like, fuck you guys. You can't. The fans can't have fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, they led it on, and then was there any news that they weren't doing a third one? Maybe, but then 3 years later we got Homecoming.
Yeah, it was basically just Marvel didn't get the rights, but they made a deal with Sony, and Marvel went, Andrew's not going to fit this one,
Right.
which is true.
Definitely.
Andrew wouldn't have fit in Homecoming. It's a shame though, because again, I think we've both said it before. Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone are 2 of the best actors and actresses we've had to play leads in Spider-Man movies. They were screwed over so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, are they both Oscar winners? Andrew hasn't won an Oscar, has he?
No.
No.
Emma Stone has.
Yeah, but
Maybe 2.
I think they're the 2 best actors we've had in leading roles. Obviously, we've had Willem Dafoe and all of that, but
Lowe's, Rhino.
Rhino.
Absolutely terrible.
Yeah, just like one thing I've heard, and it's the same issue people have with Craven, is it's difficult to make Rhino look good, because if you go comic accurate, it looks stupid, and if you try any other way, it's a massive mech, or it's a purple guy with jeans on.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's kind of one of those things, but it's if you can't find a way to do something good, don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, don't give people reasons to complain about your
They
movie.
should have, obviously, they didn't have it in their plans, but they can do a Rhino in like a Spider-Verse film, quite well.
Yeah.
Not in a live action.
No.
I think if they were to do a live action Sinister Six, he shouldn't be in it.
Yeah.
I think at the end, if we remember, do you want to just do it now? Should we do our like realistic Sinister Six live action? If you can think off the top of your head.
As in actors or villains?
Villains.
Yeah, I'm happy to do.
For me, is Venom part of the Sinister Six?
It can be. It's just Spider-Man villains, 6 Spider-Man villains effectively.
Green Goblin, Venom, Doc Ock.
Are we talking like villains that have been in live action?
No, just villains.
Just villains that we want in.
Because I wouldn't have Venom from Spider-Man 3 in it. I would have. I think the Spot's a bit too powerful to put in the Sinister Six.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
No. I would probably have Craven.
Yeah.
Because I know in the games and the comics he's really good.
Yeah.
Not in his film.
He's awesome in the Spider-Man 2 game.
Yeah. And maybe a well-done Mysterio.
I've put Mysterio on mine. I've got.
Or an Electro.
I've got Doc Ock, Green Goblin. I think those are the 2 like that kind of have to be on. It's like having Captain America and Iron Man on. I've then got Vulture, Scorpion, Craven, and Mysterio.
Nice.
I really want, especially after Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I want Scorpion to be done properly.
Yeah, a good Scorpion would be nice.
I like it purely because it's kind of like comic booky when you have Spider-Man villains that are just different animals. Like you've got Doc Ock, the Vulture, the Scorpion, like stuff like that. I kind of like it when they do that. And we've had. When did Homecoming come out?
2017.
We've had now 8 years.
Since
8 years of teaser for Scorpion, and nothing has happened. Like they could have had the 6th villain for the Sinister Six in No Way Home be one of Tom's villains. Finally, Tom would get a villain.
Yeah.
But no.
And it was stupid that I think it was No Way Home that led the end credit scene that led on to Venom being in that universe. Yes.
Yeah,
A little bit of Venom.
Yeah.
Just do that a film before.
Yeah.
And I hope we get another symbiote suit in Spider-Man 4.
Yeah.
I think a Spider-Man Scorpion, those two, one of them's grounded, one of them's not. I think that could be quite a cool.
Yeah, I think I think Scorpion is an interesting villain. They did him right in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and it kind of, I think, opened up to the possibility that people like him now and we might see him. But yeah, I don't know. I want Spider-Man 4 to be good.
Yeah, definitely. I would like. This is going to be a hot take. I would like a Tom Holland Spider-Man film to be in my top 5.
Yeah.
Like so bad. Like
yeah.
I've said it on previous episodes. I think Tom Holland is the most like comic accurate Peter Parker. I think he's the best Peter Parker that we've had.
Yeah, and with the money behind Marvel, they have the opportunity to make him the best Spider-Man as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Like with the looks, and I mean, the script can be lacking in some places, but we know Marvel can do it.
Yeah,
so like,
I mean, it was lacking in some places in Endgame, but it's still like in everyone's top 10. So,
do we want to move off of Tasm?
Preferably, yeah.
Yeah. Go on to Homecoming.
Homecoming, directed by John Watts, 2017. I don't know how I feel about the slogan of this film.
What was it?
Homework can wait, the city can't. It's cringy, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think they were just really trying to drive home. He's in high school, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, this first line of synopsis has a different superhero name in it. That's not Spider-Man.
Yeah, we'll talk about all of that in a minute. Because
Following the events of Captain America Civil War, Peter Parker, with the help of his mentor Tony Stark, tries to balance his life as an ordinary high school student in Queens, New York, with fighting crime as his superhero alter ego Spider-Man, a new threat, the Vulture, emerges.
Should we go in easy and I'll start?
Yeah, can do.
I've put, which we've already talked about, it's good casting. I think Tom Holland has the opportunity to be a great Spider-Man, and I use has the opportunity.
Yeah, he has the potential.
Yeah. I've also put Robert Downey Jr. in any movie is a win.
Yeah. Not in this one.
One thing, they couldn't really avoid it because of the contract they have with Sony.
Yeah.
So I think out of every main superhero they have, he was probably the only one they could go with.
I get that. However, it is done in the comics that Spider-Man's favourite superhero is Captain America.
Yeah, but he was against Captain America in Civil War.
I get that. But even before...
Captain America was like kind of in hiding.
Yeah. I do get that. But I've said it before, his first film shouldn't have been Civil War.
Yeah.
It just shouldn't have been. They should have done an origin film.
Yeah.
Done Civil War, then done Homecoming.
Yeah.
I would much prefer this film if they did that.
One thing that I was going to say that I don't think I might have said it to you before, I don't think the Iron Boy Jr. thing is the problem. I think it's
how they did it.
The help he gets from Iron Man and the fact that his villain is Iron Man's villain.
Yeah.
I don't think Tony Stark being his mentor is a bad choice.
No.
I think it's all the other stuff they use to sell that.
Yeah. I don't think Iron Man should have been in it as much as he was.
No. Didn't he get paid like an insane
I'm
amount?
pretty sure he got paid more than Tom Holland, which is great.
Yeah.
It's not even his film.
No.
My highs, it looks realistic.
Yeah.
Like some parts of the Maguire films are forced or the swinging doesn't look perfect.
Yeah.
That was just because it was done in 2002.
Yeah.
And then the opposite with the TASMs, too much CGI makes it look really unrealistic.
Because
this one's in the middle. It's believable, if that makes sense.
I've put that the suit is cool.
It is.
I don't think it's the best one we've had in live action. I mean,
No.
obviously we had TASM 2, but even putting that aside,
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best one.
No.
I don't have a problem with it massively. Like, I just kind of wish with the other suit they give him in, not this movie. It's in. Is it in Infinity War he gets the Iron Spider suit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's sick.
That's a great suit.
Like,
that's like top 3. Maybe.
Yeah. So like, why couldn't they give it? Why couldn't they make him a cool suit?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Anyway.
Another one of my highs is Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
He doesn't really give bad performances. No.
And he is like, I think Vulture is the only problem I have with Vulture is that he's not Spider-Man's villain.
Yeah.
Everything else about Vulture's story and the backstory, I think is like great. They could have found a way to tie him into Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, they've found a way for every other Spider-Man villain ever.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, thinking more on Michael Keaton, like the scene in the car because he goes to prom with, I want to say his daughter.
Yeah. Pearl? It's not Pearl, is it? That's from.
That's a friendly neighbourhood. I don't know who it is. But when they're speaking in the car, and like he says, I know who you are.
Yeah.
Which I think is good. I also like how the final battle was in a homemade Spider-Man suit, taking away that Iron Man aspect, which was nice.
Yeah, I think the line where he says, "If you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it," I think is a great line.
Yes,
because it's like you said about Toby going into the building with no suit, no powers.
Yeah,
like that's Spider-Man.
Yes.
Like, if you're nothing without the suit, you shouldn't have it.
Yeah.
One thing I put, and I've been going back and forth in my head about it, is the ship scene, where it's basically a new train scene, where he's pulling the ship back together. And obviously Iron Man comes to help him. I get why they did it, because it was meant to be a bit of a parallel between that and his final fight with the Vulture, where he like lifts the concrete and all of that. I just think it was too big of a loss too early for him.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, it didn't feel right to have him lose that big. Because even though no one died, like even though Iron Man saves the day, Peter's still, like, that's a loss for Peter.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it felt too. They also, I know they don't gloss over it because you have the scene with Iron Man. After that, like, it's not really a big thing.
Yeah.
He, like, there was a chance he was gonna not save like 1,000 people that day.
Yeah.
It was just that rubbed me up the wrong way originally, but
my lows should have been Iron Man 4. Just take Spider-Man on it, put Iron Man in it. It's Iron Man 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Flash Thompson sucked.
Yeah.
Such bad casting.
And will continue to.
Yeah. Aunt May sucks in these films. Well, in this film.
Yeah.
Especially in Far From Home, but we'll get onto that in a minute. It's compared to the other Aunt Mays in everything else. It's not good.
No, it's
not at all.
It's I think we were talking about it yesterday. It's not really too relevant, but she just isn't the best one at all.
She doesn't do anything in this film.
No.
And another one of my lows is it tried to be an origin, but it should have been an origin, if that makes sense. It
tried too hard to do an origin without an origin.
Yes. Exactly.
I get it, sort of. I get why they had to not do an origin because of Civil War. He was already Spider-Man at that point. But at the same time, flashbacks exist. Like, that would have been better than what we got.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't have been perfect, but it would have been better than what we got. But yeah, I don't know. Is this the one with the Washington Monument scene?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I love that.
Nice. He was able to catch people.
Yeah.
Better than the film before.
There is that. Do we want to move on too Far From Home?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Synopsis.
John Watts again, 2019.
Mm.
It's time to step up. Peter Parker and his friends go on a summer trip to Europe. However, they will hardly be able to rest. Peter will have to agree to help Nick Fury uncover the mystery of creatures that cause natural disasters and destruction throughout the continent.
I have 2 highs that I've written down.
I have 2 highs.
I only
They
have
might
one
be the
low,
same.
but that's because the rest of them I don't have
Yeah.
to write down. I put that I don't hate Mysterio. Again with the Vulture. It's the same with the Vulture for me.
Yeah.
He was an Iron Man villain.
Mm-hmm.
Everything outside of Iron Man, I thought Mysterio, like his
Yes.
abilities were done well. I thought it's just a shame that his abilities were Stark Tech.
Yeah.
I think Jake Gyllenhaal was
Yeah,
good.
he's my highest high in that
Yeah.
film.
I think
That's
he
quite
was
good.
good as it, as Mysterio. The other high I have is it's not the best we've had, but I really like the spider sense scenes in this.
Yes.
Where he's jumping through like not the right thing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
he's jumping through this simulation in ways that you shouldn't be able to.
Yeah, well, I've put hallucination scenes.
Yeah.
They're my 2 highs.
Yeah.
Like, it was cool.
The emotional beat when he runs up to Happy in that field and doesn't know if Happy's real, like you kind of see that he's been pushed to the edge of like his psyche, and I like that. Sorry to interrupt you, I just couldn't forget that.
Yeah. Well, my lows were all really the same lows as Homecoming.
Yeah.
Same with Iron Man and everything. It was another Iron Man villain.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have been. I absolutely despised Happy and Aunt May flirting throughout this entire film. Why?
Yeah.
Do they want to take a bigger shit on Uncle Ben?
Yeah.
It's like
not necessary, is it?
they mentioned it in the first film that Aunt May was struggling with the loss of Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Like, if we're going off when the film was released, because it's not going to be that far apart.
Yeah.
That would be 2 years, and let's be honest, with their age and whatnot, Uncle Ben and Aunt May were probably together for quite a long time. You wouldn't get over that in 2 years.
It's kind of a thing in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Uncle May.
Uncle May.
Aunt May didn't like get with any. Obviously, it would have been weird in the Tobey Maguire one. Nothing happened with Aunt May in TASM. It's almost like the Uncle Ben stays dead rule.
Yeah.
Aunt May stays single, unfortunately.
Yeah. I've also got it's not really a low, but I've only seen it once.
Yeah.
I can't really bring myself to see it again.
I think I've seen it twice. I think I am higher on this movie
than most. Yeah.
I still have it in the same position as everyone else in terms of my ranking.
Right.
There's certain things I like more and certain things I like less than other people, sort of thing. But yeah, I think Mysterio had a lot of potential.
Yes, he did.
It was just like I don't know if at the time people had the problem with like the Vulture being Iron Man villain, like when Homecoming came out. But if they did, surely you wouldn't think, let's give Iron Man another villain.
It is odd.
Yeah, it is just a shame because I think he had a lot of potential. I think the scenes at the start in like sort of the first, I think they're in the first act with the elemental monsters and stuff. I thought they were cool.
They were cool. I just think it was a bit of a CGI mess.
It is sort of meant to be.
Yeah.
Like it kind of works in the movie because they're simulations, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Because we also sit in the audience and know it's just CGI.
Yeah.
You look at it and go, fucking hell.
Yeah, we didn't have a massive amount of like unrealistic CGI in Homecoming.
Yeah.
The boat was probably the most.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like realistic.
Yeah.
And then we jump straight to this film with giant elements.
Yeah.
It didn't feel smooth.
No, it's a bit of a juxtaposition.
Yeah.
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Synopsis.
Yeah. Peter Parker is unmasked and no longer able to separate his normal life with the high stakes of being a superhero. When he asks for help from Doctor Strange, the stakes become more than dangerous, forcing him to discover what is truly meant to be Spider-Man.
What were you struggling with then?
Stakes.
Oh.
I thought it said, like, takes.
Oh,
Because
got
I didn't see the S from this far away.
So we watched this the other day.
Yeah.
It was my first time watching it since seeing it in cinemas. Was it?
Yeah.
Oh. I was expecting it to drop a lot more for me, because I knew for a fact that there were so many moments in that movie that were like for cinema reactions.
Yeah.
Long story short, it didn't. I still really liked this movie.
Yeah.
And you?
Well, we'll get onto that. I really have like one high. My goats are back. With Toby, Doc Ock, and Green Goblin.
You said goats, and I thought you meant Andrew.
Yeah.
I put peak cinema. And when I say that, I mean cinema. When I was in the cinema, it was peak cinema. When I'm at home, it dropped. It does drop. I dropped it half a star. Watching it at home. There's so many moments, and Andrew comes through the portal, they don't talk for like 10 seconds because they know that everyone's going crazy in the cinema.
It's not a very good home watching experience compared to cinema.
I did put, and we mentioned it whilst we were talking about it, the Green Goblin is somehow better in this movie.
I think it shows it's less of Goblin, more of the alter ego of Goblin.
Yeah.
Because I think it would have been better if the final fight he had the mask on.
Yeah,
because he just left it in a bin.
Well, he smashed it, didn't he? And threw it away. Yeah. Which it was weird, but I like the duality of Norman and Goblin in this movie. Like,
well, I think it's just a budget diff really. Between Spider-Man 1 and No Way Home.
Yeah.
They could probably pay Willem Dafoe more, so he cares more about it.
Yeah.
And obviously CGI is better.
Yeah. I mean the scene. One thing I do think this trilogy nailed was the spider sense.
Yeah.
You've got when sort of like Strange pushes Peter's body out and the suit's still moving.
Yeah.
Like that's a good spider sense scene. Obviously in the apartment when he knows something's off, and he's looking around. That's another good one. I class it as a spider sense scene. It doesn't really talk about it, but like at the end when they all start working together, it's like they kind of all linked their spider sense and just
they're tingling together.
Yeah. And because they didn't have to have as many sort of call outs and they weren't confused with each other. But yeah, I think spider sense in this trilogy is probably the best we've had.
Yeah. Would you like me to hop into lows?
Yeah.
Mess. It's the same issue that I have with the CGI in like TASM 2. Especially the last fight. None of it was practical. Literally none of it. Only the zooms in on when they're in their suits and whatnot. But none of it was practical.
Are you saying CGI mess?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like the story was a mess.
No.
I didn't have a problem. Like I could
Maybe.
follow the story. It's not the same as Endgame, where it's like so much going on at the same time that it's hard to follow.
Yeah, it's just a CGI.
It is a CGI mess.
It was a fan service film.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of the same as like in Deadpool and Wolverine bringing back like the cameos.
It was
especially Blade.
It was, but it made more sense to me in this movie than it did in Deadpool and Wolverine, because in Deadpool and Wolverine it was kind of like it was fan casts. well, not fantastic. It was like you had Channing Tatum and stuff like that, and like Chris Evans, and this one felt more like we've got 3 Spider-Men ever. Those are the ones that have come through.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
I think what would have been better is if you're going into the Spider-Verse kind of thing without going into the nostalgia, which I get.
Yeah.
That it was all about. They could have done Miles Morales comes through.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2099 comes through.
Yeah.
And then it introduces Miles. They could have done a Miles film.
Yeah.
They could have maybe done more with a Miguel O'Hara film.
I think it was the perfect time to introduce Miles, not to the MC. Well,
to Spider-Man.
I think it would have been a good time to introduce him to the audience, because the whole point of it was the people that were coming through were the people that knew Peter was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And obviously Miles knows Peter is Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they had him come through and have to go back, and then later on we had a Miles, it would have been a good way to introduce him to the audience. And I remember being in the cinema waiting for it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is there was nothing new.
No.
Everything was like, due to the story, like it makes sense because of the story, but everything was recycled.
Mm-hmm.
There was 0 new things in this movie.
No.
Except for a shield on the Statue of Liberty, apparently. But another thing I had written down was, again, just say the line. You have a line written, everyone knows it. This was closer.
It was closer, but I have a bigger issue with this one.
Yeah.
In Across the Spider-Verse, they talk about canon events.
Yeah.
Aunt May being the one to tell him, with great power comes great responsibility, isn't a Spider-Man canon event. That's Uncle Ben's job.
No.
And they didn't do Uncle Ben in these films,
True.
which I won't forgive them for.
But that is a different franchise.
It is, but it's not. It's every Spider-Man.
Yeah. You can't hold the MCU to that standard, though.
Yeah, okay,
Like,
fair enough.
That's like...
What, to comic standard?
No, but that's like saying, like, something happened in a Batman movie and you're having a go at Robert Pattinson's Batman because he doesn't do it.
Okay, if Robert Pattinson's mom and dad, not his mom and dad, like Batman's mom and dad, Bruce Wayne, like Thomas Wayne, Martha Wayne, if they didn't die and they're still with him,
that would be very weird, and it would make the movie shit, which I agree with.
Yeah.
It makes the movie worse.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a problem because of Across the Spider-Verse, though.
No, I'm not saying it's a problem because of it. I'm just saying it explains it.
Yeah. Well, one thing. I don't know if I said it to you the other night. I don't think the problem. I think it's a problem that Aunt May said it and not Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
I think the bigger problem is that it happened 3 movies late.
Yes.
If they never had an Uncle Ben and it was Aunt May at the start of Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man just had to go and live with Tony Stark or something.
Yeah, and if Aunt May died in the first film, we wouldn't have to deal with Happy and Aunt May flirting.
Would have fixed everything.
That would have been so much better for Far From Home.
But yeah, I think it was weird. It hit for me. Like that scene was a sad scene.
Mm-hmm.
Just that didn't work.
I've also got down. It is heavily carried by nostalgia and cinema experience.
Yeah. That's why I didn't want to watch it again.
Which I think we're like different in the sense that you can recall back to like seeing a part in the cinema. When I watch it again, I'm like, okay, I need to like watch this and try and forget the cinema experience.
Yeah.
Because it's the same with Endgame with us.
Yeah.
But that is just a normal thing.
Yeah, I think we have different viewing experiences of movies, and some movies it makes no difference for, and some movies it's the whole difference. Which is going to happen, but
definitely.
do we want to move on to the good ones?
The good ones, away from No From Home.
Can you play out now? I got a No From Home. Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse. This is where shit gets real. More than one wears the mask. Nice slogan. Struggling to find his place in the world while juggling school and family, Brooklyn teenager Miles Morales is unexpectedly bitten by a radioactive spider and develops unfathomable powers just like the one and only Spider-Man. While wrestling with the implications of his new abilities, Miles discovers a super collider created by the madman Wilson Kingpin Fisk, causing others from across the Spider-Verse to be inadvertently transported to his dimension.
Do you want to start off?
Yes, I do. I'll start with my lows.
Yeah.
None of them.
Yeah.
I have no lows.
I don't have a low.
Great film.
Yeah.
My highs, I think they did Gwen Stacy really well.
Yeah.
With her being a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think that was fantastic. It looks like a comic all the way through.
Yeah.
Love films that do that.
Yeah.
Is it the only films that we have like in this style, superhero wise? I think so.
Yeah.
And I think that is what holds them at this standard.
Yeah, I mean, one of my biggest highs of this movie was the animation.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's like almost everything. I personally think superhero movies and media works better in animation.
Yeah.
I obviously love all the Marvel movies. I won't say all. I love Marvel as a franchise. But I just do think it works better because there's so many things that you can do in animation that don't take you out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But when they do it in live action, you go, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, I don't know. I can't think of an example.
The soundtrack.
Yeah.
So good. The What's Up Danger scene going on that soundtrack. It has a Juice WRLD song in it, so it's always going to be carried by that in my eyes.
My first high is something that I am at a point now where I agree with you on, is that What's Up Danger, the Leap of Faith scene, is the best scene in cinema.
Yes.
I have spent almost a week trying to think of another one that's better, and I can't.
No.
So
no.
It's a really cool looking, feeling, sounding scene. It also means a lot in the context of the story.
And even when he recalls the memory from Peter Parker saying it's a leap of faith, Miles, it's great. It's such a good quote. You can use it like in everything.
Yeah, and it just looks so amazing.
And what I love about every single Spider-Man film, whether I like it or dislike it, you can relate to Peter Parker or Miles Morales and Spider-Man in general. Because
there's always something about them.
Yeah, that they are all just kids.
Yeah.
Like, whether they look like kids or not.
Yeah.
With Toby and Andrew, I don't know.
I mean, we're not kids anymore.
No, but
we're
closer than Toby was.
That's a fair point.
And it was recent enough for me, I don't know about you, that I can like recall to those times where like the struggles of like being a teenager. And also I've got Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir. So cold.
Yeah. It is all the different Spider-Men are very good in their own way. I mean, Nick Mulaney, I think, something.
I just wash my hands.
Yeah, as Spider-Ham. Very funny. Everything that they try to do in this movie works perfectly.
Yeah.
It's almost like they just made a good movie for once.
Yes.
But
which I didn't say. This came out in 2018. So a year after Homecoming, a year before Far From Home.
Yeah.
Which I think coming off the back of Homecoming made it better.
Yeah.
And I think Far From Home coming out after made it worse. If that kind of
made Far From Home worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the villains in this film were great. I think Kingpin was brilliant.
Kingpin is really good, and this is what I mean when I say about working better in animation.
Yeah.
Because
he fills the screen.
He fills the screen, and you kind of just don't care.
Yeah.
Whereas, and don't get me wrong, I haven't watched it. I've heard Wilson Fisk is amazing in Daredevil, but it's not the same.
No, nowhere near.
Like it's, if you looked at a comic book and looked at the live action Kingpin, you can tell the difference is quite like big.
Yeah.
Whereas with Spider-Verse, I think it's a perfect movie.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it at all.
And there's also Dr. Octavia.
Yeah.
Which was a nice take on it. That it wasn't metal armed. I don't know what substance it was.
We were just sat there counting octagons in the scene.
Yeah, there were so many.
So many.
And Prowler.
Yeah, Prowler. How have we not mentioned that yet? Prowler's sick in this movie.
Yeah, his theme and everything is great. I did have something else. God damn, I've lost it now.
Yeah,
Prowler's really important.
Prowler is very good and has a very good role in this movie, being the Uncle Ben.
I've remembered it. The spots in this as well, in a way.
Yeah.
He gets a bagel thrown at his head.
Yeah, which you may or may not have mentioned like 8 times.
It's really important and crucial to the story.
Because it's not like it gets explained.
No, but it's a really cool thing to know.
But yeah, it's. I think Uncle Aaron / Prowler might be one of my favourite side characters in this movie, including like the other Spider-Men.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking about Peter or Gwen. I think they're almost main characters.
Yeah.
But I think the Prowler was brilliant.
Yes.
The whole story running up to it. Because Miles finds out that his uncle is the Prowler before his uncle finds out that Miles is. But no, again, I don't have a problem. It's just awesome. A cross, which I have like 2 notes for because I'm not going to be able to get a word in.
This came out 2023. Just put it out there. Same year as Guardians 3. Same year as Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
We were eating good. The villain was the Spot. Synopsis. It's how you wear the mask that matters. After reuniting with Gwen Stacy, Brooklyn's full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is capsulated across the multiverse, where he encounters the Spider Society, a team of spider people charged with protecting the multiverse's very existence. But when the heroes clash on how to handle a new threat, Miles finds himself pitted against the other spiders and must set out on his own to save those he loves the most.
Do you want me to just go through my 3?
You do yours.
So I've written here, Spider-Man 2020, 2099.
Yeah.
Mid.
What? Crazy.
No, I've Spider-Man 2099 is
peak. Yeah.
I went into this movie knowing he was cool, coming out of the movie and thinking he was the coolest.
Yes.
He's such a good character. Oscar Isaac gave such a good performance in the booth.
Yeah. I rate Miguel O'Hara Spider-Man 2099 so highly. He's on my shirt.
Yeah.
And I've said it to, I kind of want to say years, if a year maybe, of how cool he is to you.
Yeah.
And he was in one scene and he was like, I get it.
Yeah. He's pretty cool.
Yes, he
pretty
is.
Cool guy.
He is.
I've put the Spot was like really interesting in this.
Yeah.
I really liked how it started off as the Spot being like villain of the week sort of thing, and then like it just snowballed so quickly into him being this like.
He wasn't in it that much.
No.
But
he was in himself most of the time.
Yeah.
Whoa. And then again, animation. It just they just didn't miss again. It was every frame of this movie was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I've got.
I'm going to start with my one and only low.
Oh yeah.
About the film, nothing, no lows at all. The end credits where it says Beyond the Spider-Verse next year.
Yeah.
I was in the cinema, and that kind of annoyed me because I was like, it's not coming out next year.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe the year after, maybe 2026. No, 2099. No.
What?
2029.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. Shamik Moore, stop being a weirdo.
Yeah.
Or.
Just recast.
Yeah, like get someone who can do a good Miles impression.
Yeah.
And put him behind the mic.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing.
Well, I'll get into my highs. Spider-Man 2099. We've mentioned it.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
He has such good motive
Yeah.
in this film with wanting the perfect life, going to a different multiverse, and everybody there dies except him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want that to happen to Miles.
Yeah.
He's kind of a villain, but he's not.
I've put antagonist
Yeah.
because he is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only because he's not a protagonist.
Yes.
I think like he's not a villain. He's just working against Miles.
Yeah.
The other thing I forgot to mention, I wrote in my phone notes, just not down here. The Vulture's sick. In like at the start of this movie, the Vulture's awesome.
The animation styles are.
Yeah,
so
it was really interesting. But I promise that is my last bit, so you can go on your monologue.
The soundtrack is so good. The self-love song when Gwen is walking at the start is great. The Am I Dreaming at the end credit scene it gets me a little bit excited every time I listen to it. It's in my playlist. It's such a good song. The Gwen and her dad scenes are so good, especially the start where the background's all black and white and dingy.
Yeah, well,
they hug, it all turns colourful.
I think I said to you when we were watching it, like, it's almost like they just didn't care about continuity in a good way in these scenes and just went, every time we switch the camera, let's make it look as good as possible.
Yeah.
I don't care if the wall they were stood in front of is a different colour.
Yeah.
Which happened multiple times. And I didn't care. I just watched it and I was like, that's a cool shot. Oh, that's a cool shot.
That's another one.
That's a cool shot.
For 2 hours 20.
Yeah, well, just meaning like that scene, but like, also.
Yeah. And I've got Spider Society.
Yeah.
The moment that they go there, the next hour and a half, completely flies. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like 20 minutes.
This was both of these movies we watched late at night.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a problem staying awake, which means it's like tenfold better than the Battle of Mustafar, easily.
Whoa. Whoa.
That was the last podcast.
You underestimate my pain.
Any more highs?
No, I think I've tried to keep it quite contained. I think it's got all the same highs apart from Spider Noir as.
I think the animation for me was just as good in the majority of the movie, and then slightly better in some places. I liked the fact that each sort of universe had its own style.
Yes. And different colour.
Yeah, my favourite style was Gwen's. I think it looked really good with like the watercolour sort of style. But yeah, I mean, these movies need to go in our Hall of Fame because I think we have we both have both of them at a
5-star. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's all of our Spider-Man films.
Yeah, which I was pretty bang on with an hour and 20.
Yeah.
Next, we are going to do our
rankings of them. We'll go one for one.
Yeah. What you might have to do for me
is search up a rating.
Go
I haven't got mine down, so I don't know if you just want to not do the rating.
Yeah, I'll do the ones I can remember.
Okay. I'll get my list up then. If you want to start with your
should we do 10 to 6?
No, I say we do 10, 10, 9, 9, 8.
Yeah.
Because we are going to disagree on a few of these.
At my 10 spot, I've got TASM 2.
Yeah.
Which I accidentally gave a 4-star, which I found out earlier.
Yeah.
It will be going down to a 2.5, maybe 2.
I've got it at 2.5 only because I haven't rewatched it.
Yeah.
But that is also my 10.
Yeah.
TASM 2, I think it is the one that deserves to be there.
Yeah, the reason it's so low for me is because of how big of a drop for me personally. My 10 and
Mine
9
was just, it turned shit into more shit.
Yeah. We're gonna fight.
Yeah.
So my 9 is Far From Home.
So it's
I
mine.
think I have it at a 3.
I can check. You have it at a
3.5 maybe.
3.
3. Yeah.
I have it at a 2.5.
Yeah.
That is my 9.
Oh,
My
that's
9
your
is
9
Far
as well.
From Home.
Okay. So we're agreeing so far.
We are agreeing.
I don't think we're going to agree on the next one. I don't think either of us will have a problem with it. My 8 is Spider-Man 3.
Okay.
I want to say 3 again.
I'll find it.
But
There is, you've got it at a 3.
yeah.
Yeah. My 8 is Homecoming,
Yeah.
which I have at a astounding 3 stars.
Yeah.
I tried to rewatch it the other night.
Yeah.
Maybe it was because I was ill. I just couldn't get through it.
Yeah, I think that was because you were ill.
Yeah.
I don't think the not enjoying it was because you were
No,
ill.
I've still got it at a 3 star.
Yeah.
Like, it's a Spider-Man film.
Yeah. Well, my 7 is Homecoming. And I want to say a 3. Maybe I've gone up to a 3.5 now.
I will have a look.
I mean, if you go on my profile, I have a Spider-Man ranking.
Yeah, but I'm on my Spider-Man ranking.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
My 7 is The Amazing Spider-Man
Mhm.
1. I've got it at a 3 star.
That's higher than I thought. To be fair, I'm not too mad about that.
Yeah, well,
I think I only have it at. We'll find out. At my 6, I've got Spider-Man 1. Just shy of my top 5. I think I've got it at 3.5.
I can check. What was that, Spider-Man 1?
Yeah.
I think I remember a 3.5. 3.
Oh, damn.
Did that film so dirty. You said earlier, like, it's borderlining 4.
Yeah, I think I need to change it to a 3.5.
Yeah. Well, I've just checked. You've got TASM 2 at a 4 star and TASM 1 at 3.5.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
I need to change that. Anyway, my number 6 is No Way Home.
Yeah.
Which, when I say the next one, you're gonna be like, excuse me. But I've got it at 3.5 star. So
To be fair, I've got No Way Home at my 5, so you're only
Yeah.
1 lower than me.
yeah, but you're not gonna like the one that I have above
No,
it.
probably not. What have I got? I think I gave it a 4.
No Way Home 4. I
Yeah.
do remember 4.
Yeah,
Yeah. My number 5 is Spider-Man 3.
that's crazy.
It's correct. It's I so much not so much. I one spot preferred it
Yeah.
to No Way Home.
Strong word. Anyway, so my 4 got Spider-Man 2.
Right.
So we're going into our top 5 now.
Yes.
Well, we've already got.
Yeah. 4. You gave that.
Yeah.
My number 4 is Spider-Man 1.
Yeah.
Which I have that at a 4.5 star.
Well, our top 3s. I need to change my score for my 3.
I don't know. It's better to be close to the bottom than the top with this one.
What?
TASM. You're closer to the actual rating than you
Oh
are.
yeah. Go fuck yourself then. So my number 3 is TASM. I will be changing it to a 4.
Yeah.
I think I've got it at 3.5 now.
Yeah. Which is crazy because you said below that you have Spider-Man 2, which
Yeah,
was
yeah.
have at 4.
Yeah.
I have Spider-Man 2 at my 3.
Yeah.
Which I gave that a 4.5 star, I believe. Yes. borderline 5.
Oh yeah, I was just trying to think. We both know what our ones and twos are.
Yeah.
My 2 is Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. Well, I don't need to check the rating.
Yeah, it's a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
We've just talked about it, like just perfect.
Yeah. My number 2 is Into the Spider-Verse. 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Of course.
And my 1 is Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. My 1 is Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, we just haven't swapped around, I think. I don't think either of us have a problem with them being swapped around. It's just personal preference at that point, isn't it? But but yeah, I think your ranking is wrong anyway. But we'll.
I think yours is wrong. So
what have we got next?
Spider-Man character draft.
I said to you beforehand, I'm gonna try and freeball all of this.
I have no notes for this one either.
Nice.
Oh
yeah.
Damn.
He's back. Right. So what we do?
Spider-Man character draft.
Just characters.
Yeah.
Okay. Spider-Man.
Okay.
That's your go now.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Does Spider-Man cover literally every Spider-Man like in a Spider Society?
I think it has to, because otherwise.
That's crazy, man.
I know, but if we don't say that, we'll say it counts.
So if you take
it counts
Spider-Man,
the main ones, like no, it counts like
the Spider-Man, like the Peter Parker.
Yeah.
From Into.
One thing I don't think if we're doing Spider-Man characters, we can't just have 5 Spider-Man.
No.
But yes, you can pick. Miguel. Alright.
I'm gonna take Spider-Man 2099.
I've gone for Peter Parker, basically.
Yeah. So I get a second one here.
Yeah.
I am going to take Green Goblin.
Okay. I'll take Doc Ock.
Yeah. I am going to take. I'm going to take Gwen Stacy.
Okay. I'll take Miles then.
Yeah. I'm going to take Uncle Ben.
Don't know what he's going to do for you. He's dead. Dead.
We're not fighting.
I will take. I'll take MJ.
Okay. I am going to take Venom. Yes, he's a character.
Yeah. I will go with. I've got 2 in my head, but I know that neither of them are the best option I can go with. Is the problem?
And me.
No. Oh yeah, I'll go for Harry Osborn.
What? Okay.
We both said Spider-Man 3 Harry Osborn is not a bad character.
No, he's not a top 5 in that trilogy.
No, but this is basically top 10.
Yeah, but taking
I quite liked him.
I liked him in that film.
Yeah.
But if you're taking Harry Osborn, you're also taking TASM 2 Harry Osborn.
Oh, that's a good point.
But you've written it down, so no.
I forgot that wasn't Norman Osborn for some reason. Honestly, I think because of that you win the draft.
So, do you want to go through who you've got?
Yeah, so I went with Peter Parker, Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm.
Doc Ock, Miles Morales, MJ, and Harry Osborn.
Nice. I've gone with Miguel O'Hara, Green Goblin, Gwen, Uncle Ben, and Venom.
Yeah, I think you win that one.
Nice.
I won't even send that one to the comics. The comics.
The comics.
Yeah.
Who was the other one you were thinking of?
Kirk Connors, but that's just a personal thing.
Yeah. I love. You probably would have got more out of that.
Yeah. As soon as you said TASM 2, I was like, fuck.
Right, final segment. We have a Spider-Man villain tier list.
Yeah.
This is some of his most well-known villains. So we're gonna do this. So I'm gonna say a villain name.
So the tiers we've got is
I've gone down to E now.
Oh, okay.
S A B C D E.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say villain. Do we want to agree on where they should go? I think we should.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
it should be a joint one.
Yeah. So we'll agree where they will go. This is based off live action, comics, animation, everything. So let's start with Green Goblin.
He's S. Yeah.
He's the S.
Yeah.
I think especially with his performance in Spider-Man 1
Yeah.
and No Way Home.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. And Norman in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's not even the Green Goblin.
No.
Next we have Venom.
Venom I'll put in A.
I would say S.
I would say
Comics
S.
wise.
Comics wise he's an S.
We're going off.
But both I can't put him in S because he's not perfect.
No,
Like
he's not, but he's the Spider-Man villain.
He is, but that doesn't make him S. He's
the symbiote suit arc with Spider-Man. Don't even think about Venom on his own.
But I think
about that. Think about the comics where he takes over the Avengers.
Yeah, if we were going with comics.
Well, this is just a Spider-Man villain's list. It's everything.
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
I know, but if we're doing everything Spider-Man, we've got to think of Spider-Man 3 and Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and The Last Dance. And don't know, A is carried by the comics.
Yeah.
But
then we have Doc Ock.
Doc Ock, I want to put in S.
Yeah. S is fine. Sandman. C.
Yeah, I think C is fair enough.
Then we have Electro. So we've got to do the same thing as you did for Venom.
Yeah.
Because if it was just TASM 2, it would be E.
Yeah, but I think with the comics included, I think
C.
C or B. I was thinking, so we'll go with C.
We'll go with C. The Spot.
The Spot.
I've only known the one thing that he's been in.
Yeah, same. I would
put him in A.
Yeah.
Because of a cross.
I was thinking A or B.
Yeah.
The only reason I was thinking B is due to
not knowing what he can do.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I get behind it. And then we have Lizard. Without your emotions carrying.
That's what I'm really trying to do right now.
Without my emotions. Is he better than Sandman and Electro?
In my opinion, yes. Objectively, I would also say yes. In terms of
Is
story.
He better than the Spot?
No.
So
I want to put him at the top of C.
Top of C, okay. I haven't got space.
Yeah, but we'll just keep it in mind, sort of thing.
And then it's Shocker.
Shocker.
We haven't seen a lot of him in the game.
Have we seen him in any of the movies? I feel like wasn't.
He was in Homecoming.
Yeah.
Not.
I want to put him in D.
No, I get behind D.
What did he do?
Yeah. And then we have Prowler.
We've got the game. We've got Into.
And Across.
We put him in has he been in another movie?
No.
Across those three, it's been pretty good.
So it's been pretty good.
A or B?
I'll put him in B. I don't. Oh no. He's not Venom level.
No.
But he's not as low as Spot.
Yeah.
I would say top of B then.
Yeah.
And then we got Kingpin. I would go with a D.
D.
He's just a mob boss.
I think as a Spider-Man villain,
If this was like a Daredevil tier list, yes, it would be up higher. But
Yeah, we'll put him in D.
like,
I feel like if more than 3 people saw this podcast, they'd be angry about it though.
yeah, we haven't seen Deadpool. We have seen Deadpool. We haven't seen Daredevil.
Yeah.
But
his reputation precedes him, so that he's we
Yeah.
get why he should be higher. So
yeah, like get 100 people and hand them a picture of Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Venom, and Kingpin, and see how many pick up Kingpin.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we got Scorpion.
Scorpion, I want to put him.
I think we've put Venom too low.
Do you?
Because we're just gonna put everything in B now.
Yeah, but I feel like you're thinking of different things, like for each of them. Because like Venom, if we take everything into account, the comics are amazing, but nothing else he's been in is amazing.
What, the one other thing?
What, the trilogy? And
he looked cool in the trilogy.
Spider-Man 3.
The way he looked was cool. The writing was bad.
Yeah. So you love Tasm, dear?
No.
Exactly.
No, but because that's the whole film, not just a character.
It looks cool. The writing's bad.
Okay. I still don't like it.
Exactly, and I don't think Venom's been done good in movies.
That's fine. But I'm just saying, we're going to compare a lot of these to Venom and be like, they're nowhere near as good as Venom, so they're going in.
Yeah, I don't think any of these, but I don't think Venom's as good as Green Goblin or Doc Ock. If we take all of media into account.
Okay.
And I think we've done alright with this ranking so far.
Okay.
Scorpion, I would put
C.
with with Sandman, Electro, and Lizard. Yeah. I've not given myself enough space.
Tombstone.
Oh, I'd put him with Shocker and Kingpin. Yeah.
I haven't seen enough of it.
No.
And then we got Mr. Negative.
Mr. Negative is really interesting, but I've seen him once. In the comics, he's like, he's basically a mob boss with powers.
Yeah.
But I think maybe D again. I think maybe we didn't need E after all.
Yes, we will.
Ah.
Next we got Rhino.
Yeah. If we're giving them the Venom treatment, the 2 movies it's been in.
And we've got Vulture. C.
Yeah, C.
Craven. Craven dude's nuts.
Craven is really cool in the comics and really cool in the game, and then his movie was terrible. However, I haven't seen it, so I don't know whether... Is Craven terrible in that movie, or is it everything else?
From what I've heard, it's the same as Electro in TASM 2, it's just not written well.
Yeah, fair enough then.
D.
Yeah.
Mysteria.
Oh. I want to put him in B.
I can get behind a B. I think if you're going off Homecoming, it's like a D.
Homecoming?
Far From Home.
Yeah.
But this one is carried by the comics.
Who was it, Mysteria?
Next one is Carnage.
Carnage.
D.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen him once in live action, and it was so unmemorable.
Black Cat. D.
S.
S plus.
It's just Catwoman, isn't it? It's just Spider-Man Catwoman.
D.
Yeah. I am running out of D room.
Whoa. With Black Cat. Morbius. Final one.
Morbius.
E.
has to be in a. His comic books can't carry him above. Is that all of them?
Yep, that's all of them. So in E, we've got Rhino and Morbius.
Yep.
D, Shocker, Kingpin, Tombstone, Mr. Negative, Craven, Carnage and Black Cat. C, Sandman, Electro, Lizard, Scorpion and Vulture. B, The Spot, Prowler, Mysterio. A, Venom, S, Green Goblin, Doc Ock.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's all the segments done.
Is that all of it now?
That's all of it.
Damn. That's the second podcast in a row we've done with no cuts.
Yeah.
However, we do have a slight plan for next. We know what some of it's
We
gonna be
know,
about.
yeah, we know a rough topic.
We're going to be talking about Invincible because you've finally watched all of it, and obviously I've watched all of it too.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't quite know what we're going to do with it, but we will be touching on Invincible. But yeah, if I can be bothered, there was probably a title card when I said Invincible 10 times, but I probably won't be bothered. But
Season 3, episode 6 kind of moment.
Yeah, that's about it, I think. So
yeah, cool.
we'll cover up that one because that doesn't say the right thing.
No,
But
I need a